All right, let's just jump right in. We've all been there, right? You're trying to log into something, buy a ticket, post a comment, and bam, you hit this wall. This strange little test that asks you to prove the most basic thing about yourself, that you are, in fact, human. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on exactly why that wall even exists.
You know this one, you've seen it a million times. It's the internet's digital checkpoint. And whether it's trying to read some wavy letters or clicking on pictures of traffic lights or just ticking a single box, it's an experience we all share online. And it's so common, right? We just click through it without a second thought.
But maybe we should think about it. I mean, why is the internet so suspicious of us all the time? Why does it have to keep asking this one question over and over again? Well, the answer takes us all the way back to the Wild West days of the early internet and to a battle that's still being fought today. So to really get this, we've got to look at what that gate is protecting us from. Because believe it or not, it wasn't designed just to annoy you. It was built to fight an invisible army.
See, in the early days, the internet was a much wilder place, and it was getting absolutely overrun by these automated programs we call bots. And we're not talking about helpful assistants here. Nope. These were basically digital pests, built to cause chaos and make a quick buck.
I mean, the amount of trouble these things can cause is just wow. They're the reason you get all that spam in comment sections. They're used to create millions of fake accounts to mess with reviews or spread bad information. They can steal private data right off of websites. Or, and I know you felt this pain, they're the reason you can't get concert tickets. They just swoop in and buy them all in like 2 seconds flat.
So here's the bottom line. Without some kind of defense, the internet would have become totally unusable. Just a playground for scripts. The web needed a bouncer at the door, you know? A simple test to let the real people in and keep the machines out.
And that leads us to this absolutely brilliant invention that really changed everything. It's a name you've definitely heard, even if you have no idea what it actually stands for.
And that is CAPTCHA. Seriously, its entire mission is spelled out right in the name. It's a completely automated public Turing test to tell computers and humans apart. The whole point is right there.
And this is where the genius of it really shines through. See, for a person, reading those squiggly, messed up letters, it's easy. Our brains are amazing at recognizing patterns like that. But for a computer back then, no way. It just saw a meaningless mess of random pixels. It was basically the perfect digital lock for its time.
But of course, that's not where the story ends, is it? Technology never, ever stands still. As the computers got smarter, the bots got smarter. And so, the test had to evolve. It kicked off this huge, decades-long cat-and-mouse game.
I mean, just look at how this has evolved over time. We started with the classic distorted text, but as the machines got smarter, well, the test had to get smarter too. First came something called reCAPTCHA, which, it turns out, had a pretty cool secret mission. Then we all moved on to clicking images, which also had a secret purpose. And that all leads to today, where a lot of the time, the test is totally invisible.
I know, right? Yeah, seriously. You probably had no idea, but for years, every single time you squinted at one of those blurry words, you weren't just proving you were a human, you were actually part of one of the biggest digital library projects ever.
So here's how this clever system worked. When old books were being scanned, the computer software couldn't always read the faded or funky-looking words. So what did they do? They took that word the computer was stuck on, and they showed it to you as a CAPTCHA. When you typed in the answer, boom, you proved you were human, and you taught the computer how to read that word. 2 birds, 1 stone.
And the sheer scale of this, it's just mind-blowing. Get this, at its peak, people like you and me were helping to translate 100 million words a day, every single day. You were helping digitize the entire New York Times archive and tons of books for Google, all just by typing in a few squiggly words here and there.
And this brilliant idea didn't stop with books. You know when you had to click on all the traffic lights or crosswalks or storefronts? Well, you were doing it again. You were training AI, labeling all that data to help with stuff like Google Street View and, you guessed it, self-driving cars.
Which of course brings us to the problem we have today. Because that cat and mouse game, the AI is now so good, it's just too good for those old tests. So now we need a totally new way to figure out what the difference is between a human and a machine online.
And this chart, wow, it really shows you the problem. See, back in 2014, AI was pretty bad at these visual tests. But today, it's practically as good as we are, sometimes even better and faster. It's kind of ironic, isn't it? The test we used to train the AI has now been mastered by the AI.
So the game had to change again. Now, the smartest systems aren't watching what you click, they're watching how you click. The proof that you're human is actually in how messy and imperfect you are.
Think about it. A bot moves a mouse in a perfect straight line, but you move it in a wobbly, curved path. A bot types like a perfect metronome. Click, 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 but your typing has its own weird rhythm. So these new systems are looking at all these tiny little signals, the way you scroll down a page, how you hesitate, all these tiny imperfections that just scream human. And if your score is human enough, you sail right through. You might not even see a test at all.
And so this all leaves us with a pretty deep question for the future. For so long, we've basically defined what's human online by what a machine can't do. But what happens when AI gets so good that it can copy not just what we do, but how we do it, imperfections and all? Where do we draw the line then? What's the next test going to be when the machine starts to act just like us?